The Gospel of Mark. Again, Jesus began. Mark 4, 1 through 2. Hello. Now we're going to start studying in Mark chapter 4. Let's look at verses 1 and 2. Again he began to teach them by the sea, and a very large crowd gathered about him, so that he got into a boat and sat in it on the sea, and the whole crowd was beside the sea on the land. And he was teaching them many things in parables. And in his teaching he said to them, really, I thought that Mark chapter 4, verse 1 would start talking about something different. In chapter 3, I thought we'd put that to bed. But no, you notice in the very opening words of verse 1, what's it say? It says again, again. That means that it's the same day, all day, in the same area through the evening. That morning, or in the early afternoon, what what was Jesus doing? Well, remember that Jesus was discussing with the Jewish religious leaders. They were accusing him of being of Satan. And in the afternoon, Jesus was teaching, and his mother and brothers came and wanted him to stop teaching and come out. So, in this recent verse that we read, in verse 1, it says again. Again, he started teaching. In Mark chapter 3 and Mark chapter 4, we see there's a connection there. Okay, now, all in the evening, people were gathering. There was a huge crowd there to listen to Jesus. And Jesus had to go out on a boat to teach them. Many people were there, so many. Jesus was teaching them about things in parables, stories. And a very large crowd gathered about him, so that he got into a boat and sat in it on the sea, and the whole crowd was beside the sea on the land. And he was teaching them many things in parables. And in his teaching he said to them, Mark 4, 1a through 2. The word parable, what is that exactly? Well, the word para, it means two. Like in a parachute, spell it Parachute. It means two parachutes. There's one here in the front and one in the back. If the one in the back doesn't open, then you have the backup one in the front. So there are two parachutes. Now, in a parable, what does that mean? Well, it means there are two. There's two stories. One uses earthly things, and it relates to the spiritual things. That is a parable or a story. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. We know that there were many people there to listen to Jesus' teaching. People there, so many. The question, did they all believe in Jesus? Did they all understand in their hearts and in their heads? No, they did not. A few of them understood, both heart and head. Their lives were changed. But how many? Well, Jesus' word is powerful. Still, we don't know how many. In the next devotion, we're going to talk about seeds. Seeds that you pass out for things to grow. One seed goes on the ground, the birds come and pick it up. And then there's another seed that goes in the ground and it grows up, but the sun comes and scorches it. Another seed, it goes in the ground and it grows up, and then the thorns choke it out. Doesn't grow. There's another seed, and it goes into the ground and it grows, and the seeds spread and everything's growing. That's what we're going to talk about in the next devotion. Coram Deo. To live coram Deo is to live one's entire life in the presence of God, under the authority of God, to the glory of God. Everyday Breadcrumbs, Devotional Studies for the Deaf by Brad and Tammy Schaaf, taught in American Sign Language by Brad with voiceover by his wife Tammy. All verses from English Standard Version. BradDaleSchaaf at gmail.com.